What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another video. So today it's going to be a bit of a different video, mainly because we're not going to be talking about COD Mobile, but instead we're actually going to be surprisingly talking about Black Ops 7. So Black Ops 7 was announced probably a month or so ago, and a lot of people, I guess, with given the current state of Black Ops 6 currently, a lot of people are not really thrilled to hear about it. Every year when a Call of Duty game gets announced, there is always a hopeful crowd thinking that maybe things are actually going to get better. Like they're going to remove skill based matchmaking, they're going to do away with all these different types of quirky skins. And of course, at the very beginning, even like during the beta times, a lot of people initially feel that way until like the game comes out. And, throughout the entire year, they're not really happy with it because developers seem to make dumb choices, such as not fixing certain things that are broken and, just releasing nonstop bundles. And it just makes a lot of players feel like they're not being heard. But again, the hopeful crowd is always there. And it's been there basically since COD 4, like all the way back in 2007, all the way to now. But over time, that crowd has, diminished with every edition of the COD games. Sometimes it fluctuates, back then Ghost was a thing and people weren't really happy with that game, but then of course when Advanced Warfare came out, a lot of people were kind of astounded by the futuristic movement. And then that futuristic movement kind of became a little bit much because it was just like we were like dealing with that stuff for like 3 years. People wanted boots on the ground. So COD World War II came out, and a lot of fans kind of came back to Call of Duty. And basically, after Black Ops 4, everything just continued to go downhill. But even then, people were still excited for any COD game that would come by. But this year, it seems to be very different. While there are players that don't like the next COD game coming out, and this applies for years past, they still played them at the end of the day. But this year, it seems to be different in that, like, basically no one really cares that a new COD game is coming out, especially Black Ops 7. Black Ops 7 had their gameplay trailer today with Gamescom, and I guess Gamescom was doing a live stream and they had to like shut down their comment area, their comment section basically, or I guess their live chat because there was just a bunch of people just putting L, like just straight, like you would just see a straight little wall of just L's on the chat. And everyone was unanimously agreeing that they just didn't care about the game. They just thought the game sucked. The amount of dislikes that these videos have received are pretty astounding, and it reminds me a lot of back when Infinite Warfare first got announced. It was hit with a bunch of negative, by a bunch of dislikes. It was actually one of the most disliked videos on YouTube. Now, here we are almost 9 years later with Black Ops 7, and it kind of feels like history is just repeating itself. So we can see right here with Call of Duty Black Ops 7 gameplay reveal trailer, this video has about 9,556,910 views. And this video came out about 12 hours ago during that entire event in Gamescom. And look at the like to dislike ratio. So it has 28,000 likes and 96,000 dislikes. So that's a massive, that's really bad. And if you actually look at the comment sections, the first one immediately just says, "This actually made me pre-order Battlefield 6. From a COD player, thank you for making it easy to choose Battlefield 6. This reminds me of that time when COD Infinite Warfare had to compete against Battlefield 1 in 2016. History is repeating itself. The trailer is perfect summary of everything I hate about COD and not a single thing I like. EA is probably going to throw a giant party tonight." And just so on and so forth. There's not a single positive comment here. They also had the Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Direct, which was basically supposed to have a little bit more detail on the game. And even then, it does have a smaller viewership, which is like 216,702 views and 9,000 dislikes and 14,000, sorry, 9,000 likes and 14,000 dislikes. And again, like, it's like there's just no positive comments. "I can't wait to see Beavis and Butthead while running backwards. Devs are more excited than the player base. They put they pulled a Palpatine. This year is 2035 and somehow Menendez is back." If you thought SBMM was bad before, this time we're cranking it up even more. They always say they listen to feedback. They need to stop lying. Just negative comments all over. That's insane to think about that Black Ops 7 is basically in the same shoes as Infinite Warfare was. And given that, the developers of those games never really listened to the community at all, it's understandable. I watched a Blame Truth's video on just he was basically just talking about the same thing. And he said that in the Gamescom event that people like when people were actually physically there just watching them kind of like show off the game, there was no claps, there was nothing. Just it was just complete radio silence. And to be honest, I would be so bold to say that all the COD YouTubers that were invited to play the game probably were not really excited themselves to be there. They were probably just sick of their shit, but they basically just have no choice. It just really felt like Gamescom was just announcing just a simple game. Like they didn't really make it seem like Black Ops 7 was even that important. And this is bad for the game right now, mainly because, when the beta comes out around October, which is pretty late at this point. I mean, you would assume that maybe they would have had it for September, but the moment the beta comes out, I don't really expect there to be much players at all. And if they do, they might just pick it up for like a day and just put it back down. Probably just give their initial thoughts on how the game functions. But again, like I know this is gonna sound like a hot take, and I understand this if I do get some flack, but like I was looking at the graphics of the game, just looking at all the maps like Raid, like just all the remastered Black Ops 2 maps, and to be honest, they look so beautiful. In fact, the game itself looks really nice. It's very well detailed. I love the lighting. But of course, we kind of have to look past that and realize that, yeah, this game might be good looking on the outside, but in the inside, it's probably a shit show. It's like if you're a guy or girl, right? You see someone that you're interested in, right? You see them like they're so pretty or they're so hot or whatever, but their personality is just complete dog shit. Like they're bad people. That's kind of what it is right now. I think Activision royally screwed up, especially when it came to the mainline CODs this year because of all the skins that they were releasing and just the absolute refusal to change anything, especially the matchmaking when it's just completely out of control. People don't want to try hard all the time anymore. They're just like they're tired of it. They just want to come home to a few relaxing games of team deathmatch or something like that, and they can't. They have to sweat every single game that they play. And then whenever they get an update and they see all these different skins and the Black Cell Battle Pass being presented to them right in front of their face, it's just like it doesn't really make them feel hurt. It's just like, okay, you just care more about selling the skins than actually fixing the game. So you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna go to Battlefield 6. Of course, skill-based matchmaking or whatever rig system that they have, skill-based damage. I don't know. Like, I know that's like one of their major problems, but honestly, I look at those games often and I want like I'm just grateful that COD Mobile only has weapon balancing issues. I'm glad COD Mobile is as stable as it is right now. And like they're always on top of their game. I know there's people that could debate that COD Mobile only cares about releasing draws and stuff, which is not true because this entire year they've just been releasing just stellar updates after stellar updates. And even in season 9, we might get that movement update with all the different guns having their own different type of movement system. I mean, that's incredible. And even if there is like some sort of game-breaking bug in COD Mobile, they will just iron it out basically just instantly. They'll just iron it out completely. And over the years, especially I think almost every year, I've seen a lot of YouTubers from those mainline CODs come to COD Mobile or at least observe what COD Mobile is doing, and they're just happy to see it succeeding. Like you see Tim the Tatman reacting to like the mythic growl or something like that, and he's just like astounded. I've talked about this before, so I'm not really gonna, continue talking about it again. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that they find the mobile game a lot more appealing than the mainline game. And I wouldn't be surprised that some of the players that are coming into this game probably came from Black Ops 6 because they're just tired of that game and they want to go to something that's a little more relaxing. And again, like a few videos ago, I was talking about like the ranked fatigue and how like we should appreciate that we have a public or casual matches that isn't really too serious, you know? Like there's no skill-based matchmaking in these public matches, and you can just enjoy yourself. Bots or no bots. Over there in Black Ops 6 or any mainline COD as of recent history, they don't have that privilege to just enjoy a normal match of team deathmatch without having to, you know, put in 110%. Honestly, I think this might actually be the year that COD Mobile releases a PC client for global because there's no better time than now because I know Black Ops 7 is going to fail. And knowing Activision's track record of not listening to their player base, especially, when it comes to the mainline stuff, yeah, I don't expect them to really fix any of the problems. I would be amazed if they took off like skill-based matchmaking or if they made like, more grounded skins. And honestly, this is gonna sound like a really dumb take, but with the Beavis and Butthead skins, honestly, I didn't mind that they were there. But again, like I don't think anyone would really have a problem with all these crazy skins coming to the game if the game was perfect. If there was no skill-based matchmaking, if it was refined, if there was no game crashing bugs, I think if the game was flawless, I think people wouldn't care if Beavis and Butthead or like Squid Game skins were actually in that game, so long as, they were enjoying it. Luckily for COD Mobile, we could have all the goofy skins in the world because, this game's not really meant to be taken seriously story-wise, It's like we've had so many crazy skins in the past. We have Gunzo for fuck's sake. I mean, yeah, like COD Mobile, we have a little bit more liberty to, have different like various designs for skins, which is nice. But in the mainline CODs where let's say you're playing Modern Warfare or something, I mean, that's a game that's a lot more serious with its story. So it's kind of weird seeing like Nicki Minaj like just running around with the weapon. It just doesn't really make sense. But again, I don't think people would have minded as much if the game was actually good. It's a shame to see the mainline CODs kind of fail, but hopefully if they release a PC client for global on COD Mobile, maybe a lot of those players can transition over here and then we could all be happy. But anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. I'll see you guys next time.